there was a great opportunity for West Indies to defeat this Indian side, especially the big guns were absent because since 2006 West Indies hasn't defeated 12 consecutive, now it is 13. Do you rue the fact that it was a huge opportunity let down by the way, especially the way your team performed in the last game?
Yeah, as you said, it certainly was a big opportunity for us. We understood what was at stake. History, we could even write our own history today. But again, we need to look at the processes a bit more, understand what's required in crucial situations of the game, so we can come out on top next time.
But despite the loss, if you were to count the positive, maybe it is because the way top order, disintegrated, and then the lower order show the fight back. This is what the West Indies cricket needs. Even if you lose the fight back, the attitude.
Yeah, the attitude remains. It's something I'm always going to be stressing in the dressing room. And I wouldn't like to pinpoint one particular area of the game, whether it's in the field or with the bat. But we need to understand, we need to put more collective performances together. And if we just look at one thing in particular every single time, then we're just pointing fingers. We really need to all take responsibility, whether it's in the field, with bat in hand or with ball in hand.
How can you talk about Mukesh Kumar's spell, the first spell, because he just made his debut. You saw him in test matches. So how is his performance?
He bowled really well today, especially on the surface. I realized that he was getting a bit more movement than I was expecting initially. Because when we bowled, I didn't see as much movement that he was getting. So I must say his seam presentation was certainly very pronounced. And in that situation there, when you break the top order, chasing through 351, then you're always going to be fighting a losing cause. But credit must go to the lower order, putting up that same fight that you spoke about. But yeah, we need to make sure that we start in a lot better and then give ourselves a chance in the back end.
Skipper, today's match, we bowled first, they scored 351. What would have been an ideal score to chase today on this pitch?
I thought the pitch was pretty good, to be honest, for batting especially. After the start they got, I can't fault the guys for pulling them back to that 350 score. So I would say we gave ourselves a chance to win the game with the bat. But anything between 300, 320, 330, I thought we always had a chance. But like I said before, we lost early wickets. Chasing a 350 score is always going to be difficult.
Well, Captain Award on Shubman Gill and Ishan Kishan, the partnership they were into. So do you think that sort of they batted the West Indies out of this 351, as you just mentioned, that any total between 300 to 350, it's always going to be difficult, even though it's a batting wicket?
Oh, well, they played well, but again, we missed a chance earlier in our bowling innings as well. And if we got him early, Kishan I'm speaking about, then it could have been a whole different batting display from India. But again, that's in hindsight. It happened. We have to react to it, the chance that we put down. But again, I can't point a finger on one particular instance of a game. But again, credit must be given to Kishan and Shuman for the way they played. They assessed the conditions quickly and they gave India a great total to defend.
You saw Ishan Kishan's game. All three games he got the consecutive 50. That's why he was man of the series. There is so much competition in the Indian team for every position. How do you assess Ishan's performance?
I just think he's a fearless cricketer. He's one who always likes to throw that first punch, and he puts bowlers under pressure. Any slight width or anything on his legs, he tends to capitalise, and he gives bowlers very, very small margin for error. And I must say his style of play, especially on these surfaces, I thought that he played really well, especially in Barbados when it was a difficult track to score on and score freely. And then today obviously just continued the way he was playing and it worked out for India.
Captain, award on India's performance. Obviously, a few days to go before the World Cup in India. Do you reckon after playing against India, their performances, where do you rate this Indian team in the World Cup? Obviously, West Indies will be missed. But after the series against India, where do you put India? Do you reckon that they are going to be one of the contenders for the World Cup at their own backyard?
Well, I must say that India has a lot of depth in their squad. We see them playing all around the world against different opposition, and they always have someone on the sidelines who could potentially fill a similar role to who's in the final 11. And that's one positive I could say India has, and just for them to find the right combinations and see what they think is best to win that World Cup.
You personally were disappointed along with the West Indian crowd, the public, both Virat and Rohit. They are such crowd pullers, I mean star players, and to them missing this series, they did not play the both last 2 matches. How disappointing was it? Means particularly for the fans, they come in numbers to cheer the team, particularly the white ball format. To you not to see them play in this series, what's your thought?
Well, I can't make decisions from the Indian camp, so I'm personally I love to play against those guys. I think it brings the best out of me, to be honest. Like just seeing them on the field, it brings a different vibe, different fight, and I think I can say the same for the rest of the guys in the dressing room. And it also gives us a good gauge, especially they're both batters from our bowling side, to see where they're at, because they're quality players. We must give them credit for what they've done over the few years that they've been playing cricket. But yeah, I can't speak on the Indian selection, but anytime we play against those guys, it's always a great moment for us.